Hey everyone, welcome back to the Ace of Spades University channel. Today, with so much going on in the world, sometimes it's good to have a little laugh, to have some levity. And even though I'm not British, I'm actually American, but I saw this, y'all, and I had a full long belly laugh, and I really hope that you can find some kind of joy wherever. Hopefully, it's from this video. But when I saw this, I laughed for a good 15 to 20 seconds straight. Okay. Which one of y'all then compared Liz Truss, who was the now former Prime Minister, to a head of lettuce? So I first learned about it, just browsing through the news. And I kept hearing about her resignation. And I also kept hearing about lettuce. So I'm sitting here like, okay, I didn't know if it was first I thought it was maybe like a food-borne illness or something happened with their, economy, which it did. Actually, the pound, the British pound has gone down significantly, but it wasn't at all what I thought it was. So Liz Truss, just to give you a quick background story, she took over briefly after Boris Johnson resigned or basically got fired for throwing COVID parties during the British lockdown. And from what I understand, they had real lockdowns as opposed to ours, which were pretty open and a free for all type of thing. So there were actual restrictions where you couldn't gather together and so on and so forth. So even though Boris Johnson was the prime minister at the time, like during Christmas, and he kept breaking the rules, the governmental rules concerning parties, and he would throw office parties with alcohol and so on and so forth. So he resigned. I remember his last, during his resignation speech, he said, "Hasta la vista." Which again I find is hilarious because when I would think of the British Parliament, American culture, and the Terminator, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was the furthest thing from my mind. But anyway, movies permeate cultures throughout the world, so which is another reason why I found this so hilarious. So the Daily Star had, and I'm not sure if they're the ones who came up with this, but when I tell you I laughed because shortly after Liz Truss got into office, the Queen passed away, and then there was a clip where she met up with King Charles right after, his mother died. And I'm not sure if he was just grieving or if that's his temperament. I'm probably leaning toward his temperament, but when she curtsied toward him, he said under his breath, like, "Oh my, here we go again." Really just dismissing her. And I kind of felt bad because this lady could not catch a break. Like, as soon as she got in the office trying to, I guess, clean up the mess that Boris Johnson made. And she's a conservative as well. The Queen passes after 96 years. Then giving tax breaks to the rich. Giving tax breaks to the rich does not work. And I don't care what country is, our Republican Party is similar to the UK's Conservative Party. They're both conservative, far right parties. And giving tax breaks to the ultra rich, that whole trickle down effect is a lie. And it's been proven consistently through economies throughout the world. But that's another subject for another day. But whoever came up with this right here, when they said, "Well, Liz Truss outlast this lettuce," and it's day 7, put a wig on it with the flag and the cup of tea. And it was funny, but when she came under fire because, losing the matriarch of the monarchy, was devastating, and then to turn around and have the economy crash, and we're still, people are still suffering from the global pandemic and via COVID. It's just like one thing after another, after another, after another. So she goes on the news and says, I'm not a fighter, or I'm a fighter, I'm not a quitter. This is what she said. And when I tell you 24 hours later, she resigned only after 44 days in office. 44 days in office, which is what, about 6 weeks? Wow. So she gives her resignation speech, and she walked out with her husband, said what she needed to say, said she would stay on until they find a successor for Prime Minister. Some people are actually wanting Boris Johnson to come back. I don't know. We have enough going on over here with Donald Trump, and I'll make a video about that, because if I'm correct, I think he's the first president in our history, in U.S. history, that's been subpoenaed. And that's historically significant in and of itself. But going back to Liz, she resigned 24 hours after she said that she was a fighter, not a quitter. I'm not sure exactly the details. I don't know if she was like forced to resign or what. But when I saw this, that the lettuce outlasted Liz Truss, and I kept hearing about it. Oh my goodness. It was the full, long, deep belly laugh. My apologies, Liz. And the fact that her name is Liz after Queen Elizabeth had died, right after she came into office. I mean, right after, like she met her and then boom. But yeah, Liz Truss, she said, I'm not a quitter, I'm a fighter. And then turned around and was like, boom, I quit. But she's eligible to get paid over 100,000. I believe it's like 115 pounds, some 115,000 pounds a year, which translates around 100 to 29,000, 130,000 US dollars a year after 44 days on the job. That's a hustler right there. So, I mean, the game is the game. I'm not mad at her. I'm mad at whoever, because y'all play too much. Whoever, with the stars in the background and the and the lettuce is smiling. Y'all, that is hilarious, with the blonde wig and the waving the flags. As the victor with her picture down. And it viewed 1:42 p.m. And I guess that was the time of her resignation speech. That is hilarious. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you, whoever came up with this, to whoever across the pond with their sense of humor. I definitely needed it with all the chaos going on in the world. I hope that you guys are doing well. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Find something or someone to make you laugh. And shout out to the lettuce. And I will talk with you later. Take care. Bye.